Hey guys, this is yet another installment in my series of reviewing Classic Who. Today's episode, the first episode of Sylvester McCoy's second season as the Doctor. Ironically, the one that follows immediately after Dragonfire, which is it's Ace's first full adventure as the Companion. And it's highly known among the Doctor Who community as one of the best of that era. Remembrance of the Daleks. And, it's kind of funny, as I was watching it, though some of you probably will disagree with me on this, I actually saw a lot of similarities from this episode to this one. Because when you get down to it, it ends the same way, with the Daleks coming in and destroying the mutations, the mutated Daleks that are unpure and non-Dalek. And it's kind of funny that these two episodes, that the two polar opposite Doctors, the Sixth Doctor, who is really more sporadic and vigilant, compared to the takes no nonsense and will blow up if he needs to McCoy. But thankfully, it's been like that for almost all of his incarnations, even back to the very first Dalek episode with William Hartnell. All the way back in, I think it was the second episode. The third episode of the first season, where him, Susan, Barbara, and Ian encounter the planet of Skaro and what will become the Daleks. And whilst I have to admit, they actually don't really do this type of thing. Well, they've done it a few times in New Who. Like, for example, I think they did it with Tennant during what was it? Daleks Take Manhattan, I think, is what the episode's called. When Tennant, Martha, and were in New York during the Depression, and the Daleks were building the Empire State Building, I think is what the episode was. But yeah, they basically do the same thing there, because human Daleks it's basically the same plot line. Once the Daleks have changed, they're impure. And that one has gone all the way back to the earlier episodes. And it actually, it draws a parallel to The Timeless Child. Because originally The Timeless Child was meant to be during what would have been the McGann era of the show. And even he's referenced in this episode several times by the Hand of Omega. And I've heard a lot of what would have been that era, and I'm actually kind of glad that I was gonna address The Timeless Child when it came out. I had mixed feelings on it. Had it been better done, Jodie Whittaker gave her all during that performance. I'll give her that. But anyways, we're not talking about The Timeless Child. I don't want to even address that until the new season comes out. But that's what I wanted to point out. They've continued that trend of destroying the Daleks that are no longer pure Dalek. They did that with Dalek Sec in the new series. They did it with those half Dalek, half human hybrids that they had in the same episode. And they even did it during Nine's era. During, I think it was The Parting of Ways. Because literally the Doctor was like, you changed, you mutated, you're part human, down to your structural level, or whatever that quote was, but you guys know what I'm talking about. New Who and Classic Who fans alike probably know what I'm talking about. And it's actually quite kind of funny how that happens. Like, they started out as well, they still are a parody of the Nazis. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. And they basically became something. They legit became, because again, they were basically the Nazis of space. Which a lot of people could probably say the same thing for the Time Lords, but that's a whole nother can of worms I'm not even going to open. That's a whole nother can of worms I'm not going to open, because it would go back to the Timeless Child. And again, I'm not going to go into that either. So, yeah, I mean, McCoy is obviously in his element as the Doctor. And I've addressed this before, that there's people who don't like McCoy's first 2 seasons and prefer his final season. And then there are people who prefer his earlier 2 seasons and don't like his other 2. His last one. I haven't seen any of the latter half of McCoy's era. I've only seen his beginning, and I'm someone who enjoyed Colin Baker, who is one of the least popular Doctors in the show, and literally I have almost his entire run on DVD. I'm missing Trial of the Time Lord, and I'm missing Attack of the Cybermen, and I'm missing the 2 Doctors. I've gone on to why I'm not buying the 2 Doctors, and I differ from a lot of Whovians' opinions. I don't like Capaldi. I thought he was actually unfit for the Doctor. I like Baker, and actually, I think given what all of the Doctors been done during that time, and what he wore before and after, the gay pride flag that basically was the 6 Doctors ensemble, the 6 Doctors ensemble of what he wore is basically fitting in with the white checkered lapel, that McCoy wears, and the Edwardian gentlemanly schoolboy get-up that Davison wore, and it was basically just as outlandish as the later coat in the Tom Baker era. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted. Now that I think about it, I think I'm going to go through do a list of the Doctor's costumes from 1 to 13. Ruth and the War Doctor will be on there. Who knows? I'm not gonna say when that video will come out. If I even do it. If I do it, I'm gonna, which I probably will. I'd have to literally sit down and make the list, so I can actually show, it won't, what I think was the best looks, cause I have a pretty good ranking on what I think of the Doctor's outfits, considering what I know of each Doctor. So, anyways, enough stalling. That's pretty much all I had to say for the episode. McCoy and Sophie Aldred, who played the Doctor and Ace respectively, do amazing performances in this run, and for her second episode, Ace was fully up on her role as the companion. And whilst I didn't get to see much of Bonnie Langford as Melanie, I do want to buy her more episodes of her as the companion from the first half part of the season, from McCoy's first season, because I have 2 episodes of him with her, and that was a good exit. I didn't mention last week. I don't think I mentioned last week, but that was a good exit, and yeah, again, that's all I had to say. Sorry, I'm being rambling. I'm trying to pad out this video till it's at least at the 10-minute mark. And alright, I gotta go. Goodbye, and I'll see you whenever I post my next video. Bye!